to witness the mixing of the intense fermented flavors of South Korean's top chefs Kang Mingoo, chef of two-star restaurant Mingles in Seoul, South Korea, where he mingles contrasting elements into harmony, inspired by a relentless search of the roots and ingredients of the kitchens of his country, and Anh Sung-Jae, chef of the incredibly fast-rising two-star restaurant Mosu in Seoul, South Korea. A well-traveled man who carefully integrates the culture of French, Chinese and Japanese flavors in his happy place, the cosmos flower of Korean food.
Eating the Gap is an international event online taking us all over the world. Next stop is South Korea, and who better to take us there than Jean-Pierre Gabriel, because he's not only a photographer and a journalist, he's as well the director of the Seoul Food Fest. Jean-Pierre, what are we going to learn in this section?
Oh, a lot of things. You know, Korea, I say always that Korea has so much to bring to the international food culture and international patrimonium, because Korea is so strong in fermentation. You have the classical vegetable fermentation like kimchi, you know, it's one sort of fermentation, but Korea is also so strong in what they call jang. And jang is the soybean fermentation, and Korean is totally apart.
Okay, makes me very curious. You have two guests.
Yeah.
Take it away, Jean-Pierre.
Mingoo and Sung, I am so happy to have you here. So we are in Korea somewhere with the anari, so the jars where there are so many things are done in Korea. So please let us introduce what you want to say and what you will learn from you about the Korean cuisine and the Korean food culture. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Hello everyone. I'm Mingoo Kang from the restaurant Mingles, the owner chef.
Hello, my name is Sung-An from restaurant Mosu in Seoul. Really excited to be here.
Yeah, I'm really excited and honored to be here.
So we have you prepare a PowerPoint. Could we go into more PowerPoint?
Yes, please.
So first, and could you say when you want us to move the PowerPoint? We will do it ourselves, okay?
Okay.
Okay, first.
So, before we start, I want to show this survey. Have you ever noticed Korea won the first prize as a vegetable consumption? You can see the 2015. Korea is the #1 country consuming the vegetable in the world.
And the next image.
Also 2019, the Korea is still the second, and very high percentage of the also the second is almost #1, and second is almost the same. So Korea is still consuming a lot of vegetable. So actually, I was very surprised. I'm living in Korea and I'm Korean, but I never think the Korean consuming a lot of vegetable. But I was wondering why. So I can explain. So Korea, our country is the peninsula. Also, but 70% of our entire land is made up of the mountains. So also the west coast, we have the high mineral salt. So Korean sea salt is very high quality. So actually, even the French restaurant in Korea, they are not using the French salt. They are using local Korean salt. The region is the Korean salt is very good. So those two regions, there are a lot of mountains, so easy to access the vegetable. Also, at the same time, we have the high quality salt. So that makes Korea have a lot of different type of the preserved food. Also, the region is
Next.
Korea have very strong, vivid seasonal ingredient. First, we are using the salt for the ingredient. The one reason was the preserving, but after that, it's getting fermentation. It tastes better. So Korean fermentation is just like the very normal for our cuisine. So Song will explain more about this.
Okay.
Could you explain maybe the last picture, because it's interesting to explain what we have here. So
Yes,
soybean,
yes,
ganjang,
yes.
gochujang, doenjang, and so on. Please.
Right. So the Korean cuisine starts off with what Chef Mingoo just explained, with the high quality salt and the seasonal vegetables that grows in the 70% of the mountain in Korea. But that doesn't make a cuisine. That's just a landscape and the quality product. What makes the Korean cuisine really special is the fermentation, like Jean-Pierre, you mentioned it earlier. Three major fermentations techniques that we have traditionally used in Korea and Korean cuisine is the soybean fermentation. I mean, we are all familiar with it, but the deep culture and that's rooted inside our daily lives, this is like the really fundamentals of the Korean cuisine. The soybean fermentation makes ganjang, which is a soy sauce, gochujang, which is the chili paste, doenjang, which is a soybean paste. And these are the pinnacle, the most important, the crucial ingredient that seasons, all the vegetables and sometimes the meat and everything. So that is packed with flavor. Obviously, we are not gonna go into the details of the scientific reason why, but this is it packs the flavor and it just makes everything taste really good. The grain fermentation makes the alcoholic drinks like soju, shike, which is also the drink, but also seasonings like mirin and different type of alcoholic drinks. The vegetable fermentation, which can be mixed with the grains or soybean fermentation, but itself, the iconic thing that everyone knows is kimchi. We obviously know that it's the lactic acid fermentation that with the mixture of all the different vegetables. And 장아찌 is used with like soy sauce, chili, or stuff like that, and it's fermented also. And if you see the next slide, you'll see just some examples of like what it is. We try to focus on like we have garlic, we have namu, which is a spring vegetable. We have daikon, radish kimchi, which is a winter fermentation, and we also have a chili fermented chili 장아찌, which is like the autumn specialty when we do the fermenting the vegetable. Mingoo, you want to explain?
Yeah. So, Korean the vegetable culture is for sure we are using a lot of the vegetable fermentation. It comes from the soybean. Also, about a few years, about 5 years ago, many young new restaurants come out. They are start working with the local farmer. So we are using many local vegetable. Also, we are seasoning combined with the Korean traditional fermentation. So it's kind of the farm to table is for the fine dining, the Western and European culture, but we bring it and we are combined with the Korean fermentation, the culture. So actually we are introduced our own side of vegetable culture now in our restaurant.
So what are we seeing
also,
now?
when you see
this one is important.
This picture we call bansang. It's a very typical Korean table. Base is rice and soup and many side dishes. We call banchan. So when you see the checking, the red color is almost 70% is consists with the vegetables. So actually, as I said, I'm not really realize Korean consume a lot of vegetables. But when we see the regular normal the Korean bansang, I realize the regular meal I eat a lot of vegetable every day. Yeah, see.
Do you want to go to next picture?
Yeah, the next is the vegetable menu.
We go. Yeah. So what do we have here?
This is we call the sun is the Korean the traditional the way of enjoying the vegetable normally. So this is the Mingles style. So we are bring the traditional the Korean the vegetable dish with the work with the local farmer, and also idea get from the all international gastronomy the style. So we invent our own style. So actually the seasoning is all the seasoning is Korean soy sauce. Also right side the rice cake is rice fermentation, the makgeolli we are using. Also
For this one you are using makgeolli. For this one
yes,
you are using
makgeolli rice cake.
Okay, makgeolli it's
a rice fermentation.
Yeah. And
yes.
and in what is what?
Center is the local vegetable. Also the broth is we season with the Korean soy sauce.
So, but what do you have inside this stock?
Inside the local herb, we get from the farmer.
Yeah.
But when we using the vegetable fermentation jang seasoning, it give a lot of umami. So.
And what is the dry thing? The dry thing inside. Yeah. You have some dry things. That's something dry, no?
Oh yes, the dry zucchini flour, because the zucchini dish.
Okay.
Yes.
Please, sorry.
Yeah. Okay.
Next one.
Yeah, that is the. Actually, I invent because the Zhongguan, the monk, when she visit our restaurant, I invent for her because her signature dish is the braised shiitake with the soy sauce. I introduced her my style, the shiitake dish. Now, but shiitake we call pyogo mushroom in Korea. So we blanch the soy sauce, move to the back, please.
Back, yeah. And then we have to go to move to Sung, because otherwise we will not have time to his recipe.
Okay. Let's move to the song. Put the song.
Yeah. So next picture. Mosu.
Okay. This one, just please show me the 2 page back.
Two picture back.
Yeah, 2 picture back.
No,
yes, that one. There are two octa mushroom we preserve in the Korean soy sauce, and next page I can use for the meat dish. Also the page that I can use for my fish dish.
Okay.
So those two is Korean the matsutake mushroom and black changchul mushroom we preserve in soy sauce.
Sung,
so please. I can use for my chicken dish. Also next page.
Next.
I can use for the fish dish.
Okay. Sung, please. Next picture.
Yes. I don't have a lot of pictures for me, but I just wanted to explain, because we just talked about like what the core of the Korean cuisine, and also traditionally like how we ferment the stuff, but we can't forget to think about like how to push forward and just not stay conservative, but innovative wise as far as like pushing the limit of the fermentation. So just quickly explain, on the left side, it's called a vegetable called dadak. Dadak is a type of root vegetable that's grown in Korea. It has like that bitterness and it has sweetness. What I did was I fermented with soybean first, and then I also fermented with next stage was fermenting with the rice koji, which is nuruk with salt, nuruk and soy. What happens is like it ferments together and it becomes like a lactic acid ferment and plus the umami ferment together. So the complexity of it, it's like it saves time. It makes sense in the restaurant when you kind of add all the techniques together, all the traditional and the modern techniques together, and it becomes something totally new, but also about keeping it really original. On the right side, I did the same thing with the shiitake mushroom. Shiitake mushroom gives a lot of umami, obviously. So I use that to make a soy sauce, and I use that to ferment another stage of soybean and make different sauces. So it's not just like the fermentation of a traditional way, but also as a chef, what keeps us going and then what push our boundary is like the whole point that we learn the tradition and I think we look forward to inventing something new out of it.
Yeah.
Last picture that I have is the Todok tart.
Really last one then.
I just put.
We're running out of time, so make it
please.
quick. Yeah.
Yeah.
Explain
so
this.
Todok tart is it's a dish that I made for the restaurant. Because it takes so much time, because it has so much flavor, it doesn't really need anything else. So I just put fermented todok in a tart, and it's probably one of the favorites of all the guests. So, yeah.
Cool. It all seems and looks so very tasty. Thanks for your input, chefs, at the other side of the world in South Korea. Thanks, Jean-Pierre.